Short mane Fluttershy. Fluttershy with a short mane. Where's Fluttershy? Rainbow Dash was sitting with her friends in the main hall of the giant new castle, bored stiff. She'll be here, Dash, Twilight Sparkle answered. Besides, it's only been 10 minutes. She looked out one of the windows, where the wind and rain were doing a number to it and the rest of the castle. And with the storm that's outside, I would have been late too if I lived as far as Fluttershy does from here. Really? Rainbow Dash asked. Well, no, Twilight said sheepishly. Patience is a virtue, Rainbow, Rarity replied. After all, what could you possibly be doing right now with that going on? She pointed to the storm raging outside. You do know it's sunny above the clouds, right? And besides, flying through a thunderstorm is some of the best training I can get. Really? How'd you reckon? Applejack asked. With all the wind and rain holding you back and the lightning and thunder distracting you, you gotta be on your top game to fly in one of those bad boys. Well, the storm is scheduled until 9, Twilight said, and Fluttershy did ask us all to be here for a reason. I'm sure whatever she wants with us won't take that long. After we're done, you can go flying to your heart's content. Yeah, I just wish she'd get here, Rainbow replied. What do you think she called for us anyway? Ooh, maybe it's to tell us that she's really a vampire, Pinkie Pie interjected. Or maybe that she's really behind the Canady assassination. Or maybe that... I think that's enough, Sugar Cube, Applejack said, lowering her hoof from her pink friend's mouth. At that moment, the door to the castle opened. Fluttershy, wearing a dull gray rain cap and a trench coat, entered. Oh my, it is bad out there. Fluttershy shook herself at her clothes in an attempt to dry them. Sorry I'm late. It's alright, Sugar Cube, Applejack replied. Yeah, don't worry about it, Twilight said. Please, you can just set your coat over there. She pointed to the chair where the others had placed their rain gear. Come and tell us what you wanted to talk about. She gestured towards the table and to the 5 others that were sitting there. Fluttershy gulped. Well, here goes, she said as she removed her coat and hat. Instead of her naturally long flowing mane, a short one took its place. Still the same shade of pink, her mane now only reached the back of her neck where it ended flatly. The same had been done to her tail even, only being able to cover her flank. Her friends stood wide-eyed at Fluttershy's haircut. Well, what do you think? Fluttershy asked nervously. Rainbow was the first to react. A wide smile appeared on her face, and she clutched her chest as she fell to the floor. Was all that came from her. Rainbow! Applejack, Rarity, Pinkie Pie, and Twilight yelled in unison. So, you don't like it? Fluttershy said, blushing and tears forming in her eyes. She tried to hide behind her mane, but given its new length, proved to be difficult. Nonsense, darling, Rarity said, moving over to comfort the yellow Pegasus. I think it looks fabulous. Really? Fluttershy asked. Of course, Rarity said. Not many ponies can pull off a short mane like you have. I certainly know I couldn't. Your tail is a little boxy for my taste, but you pull it off wonderfully. And you're still super cute, Pinkie Pie said. How do you do it? I mean, first you're a bat, and then you're the Hulk, and now you got a great new haircut, and you're still cute as ever. Tell me how you do it, Pinkie said, violently shaking Fluttershy before Applejack stopped her. The real question here is, do y'all like it? I think so, Fluttershy replied. Then that's all that matters, Applejack said. You can ignore this one. She pointed to Rainbow Dash, who was still on the floor wiggling about. Well, I'd like to still know what you think about my new mane cut, Applejack, if you don't mind. Applejack rubbed the back of her head. I like it. It's just, I'm so used to you with the long hair. It's gonna take some time to get used to it, but I think you look fine, though I ain't no fashion pony. I like it too, Twilight said. What made you decide to get it cut anyways? Well, to be honest, I didn't, Fluttershy said. At least not recently. What do you mean? Twilight asked. Well, you remember when the Cutie Mark Crusaders were reporters? Applejack, Pinkie, Rarity, and Twilight all nodded in agreement. Well, their report about me using hair extensions wasn't wrong. Though I don't use them for the lengths that they reported, but I do use them. At least until my mane grows out to the length you normally see. Whatever do you do that for, dear? Rarity asked. We all get mane cuts from time to time. There's no need to cut off your mane completely, unless you're afraid of barbers. Are you afraid of barbers? No, Fluttershy replied. What I usually do once is my mane is long enough, I go and donate most of it to charity. Then I wear some synthetic extensions until it grows back. That's really kind of you, Fluttershy, Twilight said. Why didn't you tell us sooner? We would have been more than supportive. Well, the last time I got a cut was right after the Nightmare Moon incident, and I just met all of you, so I wanted to let my mane grow out before telling you. Why, this is one of the most bravest, most generous acts I've ever seen, darling, Rarity said. I don't think I could have ever pulled what you've done, Fluttershy. Celestia, hope whoever touches my mane. Weren't you the only one who cut off her hair to help some sea snake? Applejack asked. Shut up! I'm just trying to make her feel better, Rarity whispered through her teeth into Applejack's ear. In fact, I think we should hold a party for your courage. What do you say, Pinkie? Actually, I think we should tone it down for parties for now, Pinkie Pie said to a shocked audience. See, the third rule of partying is everything is in moderation, and with all the parties being held around here, they're starting to lose their meaning and become mundane, which is something a party should never be. And on top of all that, some folks were complaining about us having a party and some kind of celebration every other episode. Episode? Fluttershy asked. Week! Every other week! Pinkie said, looking around nervously. At this point, Rainbow Dash had regained another composure to lift herself onto the table. Sweating heavily, she turned to look at Fluttershy. Once more, she fell over. Okay, Dash, it wasn't funny the first time, Twilight said. At least try to be supportive of Fluttershy. You are the element of loyalty, after all. Help, Rainbow Dash barely managed to say. Twilight went over to the downed Pegasus. Rainbow, are you alright? She further inspected Rainbow Dash. Girls, come quickly. I think Rainbow's having a heart attack. Well, your friend here did suffer a heart attack. Just a normal one, the Dr. Pony said. What do you mean, Doc? Applejack asked. Rainbow Dash suffered from a severe verandum cor impensum cultro. An equestrian, please, Applejack retorted. Actually, it makes sense in context, she muttered to herself. Basically, your friend had a cuteness-induced cardiac arrest. See, what happens is, when the brain is bombarded with a certain amount of cuteness, the cerebral cortex goes haywire, and stops telling the heart to act normally, which caused the attack. It also forces the pony undergoing the attack to smile like they're crazy. So, you're telling me that it is possible to die from something being too cute? Twilight asked. The doctor nodded. Then why weren't the rest of us affected? It's a beauty in the eye of the beholder sort of case. Rainbow Dash saw something that she interpreted as cute, which led to her condition. This could have happened with any other image, so long as the pony, afflicted, thought it was cute. I even heard about a case caused by a spider. Will she be alright, Doctor? Rarity asked. She had quite a rough case, the doctor replied. She had to watch that one scene from The Thing 10 times before her vitals stabilized, but she's in fine condition, now resting. She'll make a full recovery. I'll take you to her if you want. The doctor gestured toward the ward, and the group followed him to Rainbow's room.